Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Bottom Line Thursday. Brad Johnson here, guest host.
Chris Bolin.
And Chris Beyer. Let's go, Brad.
Nice.
Another Thursday morning.
All right.
Yeah,
We're ready.
I get to use a
What do you
new
have
word.
for us this week?
I'm going to use the word vexing.
Ooh.
And I've got a vexing challenge for employers. It has to do with COBRA.
Yeah.
And so there's a city pretty close to here that fired a working couple because they allegedly, can't even say it, stole 55,000 files from the computer system and also deleted them. So the employer felt, well, you're done. That part makes sense. And they said, you know what? That also means gross misconduct. So we don't have to send you a COBRA letter. Well, the terminated couple saw it differently. They said, let's go to court because I think you owe us a COBRA letter. And I'm reading this and I can see why the employer didn't. I mean, they don't define gross misconduct in the regs, so it's always been gray. But one would think, just on the surface of the story, that it would pass.
That seems to fit it.
And so they asked the judge for kind of a bench verdict or a summary judgment. Hey, judge, we don't need a jury trial. Don't you think this meets the standard? Judge said, nope. You didn't prove it enough to me that it did. So if you want to keep going, you got to take it to a trial.
Oh, jeez.
So anyhow, that's why COBRA is vexing, especially when you think of gross misconduct. You'd think it'd be cut and dry in this case, but
that seems pretty bad.
Allegedly. So anyhow, back to you guys.
So what has happened? Nothing yet? So now it's basically just going to go to trial.
Yeah, I haven't seen if the city is going to say, okay, fine, here you go. But what's interesting, though, could then the couple go after the city because they failed to provide the notice timely? And I think there's like $110 a day fine. And I'm sure, given the animosity going on here, that's probably how it works.
So, Stevie, you've been doing this for a bit, so you probably got some good stories with this.
You know, whenever an employer even questions hiring a COBRA vendor, I will tell them this story. In the first 10 years of my career, I had a small employer, large enough to offer COBRA. And I said, you know, we should probably have a COBRA vendor. And I think it was like $300. Nope, that is ridiculous. We have this down. It's so simple. So they had an employee leave, and that employee had a bunch of claims within days after leaving. They never sent the COBRA notice. The employee never even thought about saying, hey, you know, don't I owe you some money to stay on your plan because I'm having claims? And then all of a sudden the plan starts to refuse paying all her claims. You know, it takes about 30 days, right, to figure that out.
Yep.
Well, same thing, Brad, hires an attorney and says, I have $85,000 worth of claims that are being denied. And I don't ever remember getting a COBRA letter because I planned on continuing coverage. And you're going way back in the day that there wasn't healthcare.gov. Everything was pre-existing. So she was absolutely going to stay on COBRA for the 18 months. That employer had to pay that claim out of pocket. They could not file it against their reinsurance carrier because the reinsurance carrier was like, this is your fault. You never sent the appropriate paperwork, so we're not paying the claim either. So spend the $300, $500, whatever it is, hire a COBRA provider.
Just get it done.
Now, Beyer, you've got some great stories during COVID didn't you have a couple clients that were begging to hire a COBRA vendor because through COVID, it was a nightmare?
So first of all, I'd just say, what is COBRA? I don't even know what we're talking about.
I don't know. I just
read
about it. And
it's just something in Brad's news. No, but seriously, yes, we did have that because we had so many situations where, especially in public entities, that you have employees furloughed, and how long does that furlough last? And should we be offering COBRA or not? And those employers that just wanted to do it in-house really struggled because everything changed. You could look back multiple months and years to get reinstated on COBRA. But I'll think back to our compliance team has always said, if you're ever thinking about taking away coverage retroactively or not offering COBRA, don't do so.
Right.
talk to an attorney well before you make that decision, because it's going to come back and bite you. And I would have totally agreed. This is a situation they shouldn't have been allowed. That's gross misconduct, but that's not the rule.
So, Brad, since you're the expert of all things, I had a weird scenario pop up where the employee was on leave. And of course, their bank of PTO ran out, and then they were not able to pay their premiums anymore. And then they went, then they left. And the employer said, well, I don't have to offer them COBRA because they never paid their last 2 months of premium. You ever remember, like I said, just offer it. They're not going to take it. When they see how much it's going to cost, just offer it.
Yeah.
But they did not. And you know what? I didn't ask anymore. I was like, I'm telling you not to, and good luck.
If I were given that question by a client, my answer would be exactly what Byers said. You better talk to an attorney.
Yeah.
Because I think we
Yes.
all have hunches. And even
Yes.
if, let's say this city was one of our clients that we're talking about the gross misconduct, and they said, we've got, good data to show they stole 55,000 records. Is that gross conduct? Well, boy, they don't define it, but it sure seems to
Hey,
pass
that
the
sounds like it's
smell
me.
test
I don't,
me.
yeah, I'm not going to give that determination now.
And yet we would have been wrong. And so to your question, I'm going to refrain from answering and then point to our good legal advisors out there that get paid to sign the document to say yay or nay.
Yeah.
Well said, Brad.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Chris, you can't trap him. You cannot trap him. Look at
Tried.
that.
Tried.
Brilliance.
Not going to let you.
I tried.
Good topic as always, Brad. We appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, we'll see
very
you next week for hopefully less
right.
vexing issues.
Less
Less vaccine.
vaccine.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see.
All right. See you later.
Bye.